So, my dear friends, welcome to the 41st class of the Bhagavad Gita series. And we are going to be starting with chapter 5 today. So, let us just summarize in a few minutes what chapter 4 had to tell us. What did Krishna convey to Arjuna in chapter 4? And this is a chapter with a lot of twists and turns, because in shloka number 1, Krishna starts to talk about how he gave these teachings of yoga to Ikshvaku, to Vivasvat of the Surya dynasty, of the Sun dynasty. And then, of course, Arjuna is perplexed. Arjuna says, "Oh, Krishna, you were born just recently. How is it that you say that you gave these teachings of yoga to people of yore, of ancient times of the solar dynasty?" And then, of course, Krishna, reveals his avatar form, and he says that he is not just this particular body that Arjuna can see through his eyes, but rather he is that divine consciousness which is all pervading, which is beyond time, which is timeless, infinite, and eternal. And then he says to Arjuna that you remember only this lifetime, but you and I have come on this earth multiple times, and I remember all of those lives, but you remember them not. And then the chapter, it progresses to Krishna explaining to Arjuna why a divine incarnation is necessary. And then comes the famous verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. And in this, Krishna says that divine consciousness has to take a human form and descend on earth for two main purposes. One is the establishment of dharma. Whenever virtue is declining, whenever dharma is declining, then the divine consciousness takes us the form of a Sagun Brahman, the form of a name, a personality. So the infinite consciousness is born in a personality to impart the teachings of higher wisdom, to awaken the need for dharma in people, to overall uplift mankind, and especially to help those advanced souls who are at the verge of moksha, to help them to cross over. And this is how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about his divine incarnation. And then as the chapter progresses further, comes the concept of action and inaction. And then Krishna again gives a perplexing statement where he says, the one who can see action in inaction and inaction in action is a wise one. And as we understood in the last chapter, what he meant is that one who can see the infinite still substratum of the soul simultaneously with the actions happening in the prana, in the body, in the mind. That one who knows that even while acting, behind all the layers of activity lies the stillness and the substratum of the soul. So the one who can perceive both action and inaction simultaneously, that one is a yogi, that one is a sage, he is wise. And then he goes on to say that, what kind of actions should be performed? Then comes in the picture of the yagyas, the typical fire ceremony that is explained in the Karmakand part of the Vedas. And because people associate with it with an outward ceremony, Krishna explains to Arjuna 12 different ways of offering his inner self to his greater self. And all of these, the various works that we do, the various bhavs that we have, all of that, how it can be converted into an act of offering, an act of oblation, an act of yajna, and how he says that the very activity, the very action of doing kriya yoga is the inner fire ritual. And the main purpose of all these yajnas is to actually offer your little self into your greater self. Talking of the different types of yajnas that Krishna is asking us to do. And then Master explains that even if you pick up, one type of a particular fire, right, and you dedicatedly and sincerely follow and do that, that itself is sufficient to take you to liberation. And all of us, being Kriya Yogis, being disciples of Master, we have already been given a path. We have already been given a key to unlock the doors to salvation. Now it lies up to us how nicely, how regularly, and how sincerely we are able to use it. So then the chapter again moves on further, and now Krishna says that a person should devotedly surrender at the feet of the Guru. because only by surrendering, by obedience, by love, and by following the footsteps of a wise sage, of a God-realized master, can we too also go towards liberation. But then he comes with a warning. He says that ignorance, lack of devotion, and doubt, these are three obstacles which will prevent you from actually, getting the wisdom from the Guru, which will prevent you from seeing the world in its true essence. You will always have doubts whether it is true or not. Whatever you see, even at the physical level, at the material level, if you're having certain high thoughts, you will keep doubting them. If you will doubt the teachings, you will doubt the teacher, and so on. And then he goes on to say that the doubter is the worst afflicted person. And how he said, can you remove your doubt, is by persistently being in the company of wise sages. It doesn't go overnight, and it is a tamasic tendency. It will take time, but surround yourself with wiser people, with spiritual people, with people who have devotion in them, and slowly you will find that all your doubts will be removed. And then finally, he, of course, gives importance about devotion and surrender. And the last shloka, he is, commanding Arjuna now. He is saying, arise, O Arjuna, with the sword of wisdom, slash the ignorance and doubt about the self or Atman. So when he is saying, arise, O Arjuna, Krishna and Master are telling us, arise, O devotee, arise, O disciple, awaken your wisdom, go to your Guru, follow the footsteps of a master, develop devotion, develop surrender, do not doubt, perform whatever yajna you can, and believe in that divine consciousness. Have shraddha, have faith that the scripture, what the scripture is saying, is the truth, and you will be able to come to that truth yourself. Excuse me. So now we begin with chapter number 5. And this is what shloka number 1 begins with. And again, Krishna will give so many teachings, and then Arjuna will come up with one question. So this is exactly what is going to happen. Chapter 5, shloka 1. Arjun uvacha. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha shansasi yachreyaetayorekam तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम। अर्जुन ने कहा, हे कृष्ण, आप कर्मों के त्याग की बात करते हैं तथा साथ ही कर्म में प्रवृत्त होने की का परामर्श भी देते हैं। इन दोनों में कौन सा मार्ग श्रेष्ठ है? कृपया मुझे निश्चित रूप से बताइए। Arjuna said, O Krishna, you speak of renunciation of actions. At the same time, you advise their performance. Of these two, which is the better path? Please tell me for certain. So here is Arjuna asking a question. So we are asking a question. So just let us go back a little while back, when we were ending chapter 2 and chapter 3 was beginning. In the entire chapter 2 was just full with the teachings of Jnana Yoga, and Krishna declares to Arjuna that you are the Atman, and gaining wisdom about the Atman is the end goal of all, purpose of existence, and so on and so forth. And yet at the end of chapter 2, he asks Arjuna to fight. And then when chapter 3 begins, now Arjuna says, now on the one hand, you are saying the path of wisdom is good, but on the other hand, you are telling me to do this horrible action. So what is all this? Please tell me one thing that I must do. Now, again, the same thing is happening in chapter number 5 as we are beginning chapter number 5. Now, Arjuna is not confused whether Gyan is better or Karma is better, because already he has been explained that both are required. You need to purify your Chitta through Karma Yoga, and then only in a purified Chitta will the wisdom of the spirit, the wisdom of the Atman will be mirrored, will be reflected, will be understood. But now the question is slightly different. Now the question is, now on the one hand, O Krishna, you are praising renunciation. But on the other hand, you are describing the yoga of action. Now, please tell me one thing that I must do. And the answer is very important for all of us. Okay. So the difference here is, the competition here between the two is karma yoga versus karma sannyasa. What should we do? So master says, when a yogi starts to meditate and he starts to have inner perceptions, and certain experiences, and he feels the bliss of the soul. He is peaceful. So then the yogi thinks, is it really necessary that I go back into the world and I have to perform that drudgery, those difficult actions of the world? Is it not good that I'm having this enjoyable experience? I'm already in the soul. Is it not possible that I just stay in this state? And many of us who as we slowly begin to advance in our meditations, we want to just get away from the world, and we don't want to get engaged with it anymore because it is a difficult place. And yet our higher wisdom, our own innate wisdom tells us that we have to. And so this is what Guruji says about this verse. He's explaining. He says, the cosmic law will impel man to activity, regardless of what mental determination he may entertain regarding his conduct of life. He who is part of creation has obligations toward creation. He is forced, even against his conscious will, to play his equitable part. So what does this mean? So Master says, almost comically and sarcastically, he says, just like one day, suddenly in your mind, you cannot say, okay, from now on, I'm not going to breathe. You just can't do it because you're going to be forced to breathe. Similarly, just one day in your mind, you cannot say, okay, from now on, I'm not going to act. This is not going to work. So he says, even in spite your conscious will, because you are part of Prakriti, because Prakriti has made you, and Prakriti means movement, then automatically you will be forced to act. Now, if you are forced to act, then the only question remains that what kind of action do I do? With what attitude should I do that action? Should that action lead me to freedom, or should that action lead me to bondage? Is that action creating joy and peace and harmony and wisdom and power and calmness? Or is that action creating in me hatred and negativity and jealousy and envy and worry and fear and irritability? So these are the questions. So action we have to do. Now, what kind of action we will pick, with what attitude we will do it, what will we how will we behave in this world? That is the important question now, not the question that whether I should act or not. Okay. So he says, now Master says, man should thus practice yoga techniques in order to realize his oneness with the Lord. At the same time, he must perform dutiful activities as a sacrifice before the altar of the prodigious worker, God. So what do we mean by prodigious worker? So prodigious means powerful, and we know God is the all-powerful, and he is working incessantly through his Prakriti. So, but at the same time, he's detached. So working and detached at the same time. Now that is the art. In fact, when this chapter begins, Master titles it as inner renunciation. So now we are going to learn the art of inner renunciation. We are going to learn the art of how to be detached and yet to be fully engaged with full passion, with full involvement, with full enthusiasm with life. How to do that? How to walk on this sword's edge, and how to maintain that balance. So let's learn this art from Master. Okay, so this brings us to shloka number 2. And of course, because Arjun has put a query to Krishna, now shall come the answer from Krishna. So verse number 2 says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karvubho Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. श्री भगवान ने कहा, मुक्ति, त्याग और कर्म दोनों से प्राप्त होती है, परंतु इन दोनों में कर्म योग कर्मों के त्याग से श्रेष्ठ है. The blessed Lord answered, salvation is found by both renunciation and performance of action. But of these two, the yoga of works is better than renunciation of works. Beautiful, amazing answer. The answer by Krishna is unequivocal. It is very, very clear. Master explains, he says, it is better to perform one's spiritual and material duties. The devotee who renounces all activities and seeks out a sequestered cave for solitary meditation on God has chosen the inferior path because it is one-sided. So only meditating, even going to the forest or cave, only for that is inferior to being able to balance both meditation and worldly activities. Okay, so why should this be inferior? There are two reasons for this. Point number one, and Master said that those who just leave everything, who want to just not do the, anybody who is leaving the world because they don't want to perform actions, not because they truly love the Lord, they actually, when they go to the forest or the, the caves, they become bums. This is the word that Master has used. So why? Because slowly their physical activity will reduce. Once the physical activity reduces, the mental stimulation will reduce. So they will become both physically lazy, mentally lazy, and spiritual life will go head over heels and they become bums. So that is the one reason that you just cannot leave the world and go into the cave. The other reason is that once you have attained God, then it is your duty to share with others. That is a higher path. Now, it is, you just cannot take selfishly moksha for yourself. You must share it with at least few set of people. And we have heard that Master says that you must help at least 6 people to attain liberation before you yourself can be fully liberated. So these are the two important reasons which tell us that it is better to balance your meditative life and your material life than to just leave your material duties and go into the forest and only meditate, because our chittas are not so purified. If we have desires in the world, when we remove our body from the urban setup and take the body to the forest, the mind is still the same, the attitude is still the same, nothing has really changed. The inner passions, the lust, the desire, the worry, the anger, nothing has been actually transcended. It's just the same. It's just that you have removed the body from the city and you have put it in the cave. So then will this person attain moksha? No. We need the world, because when the world is around us, we have to perform actions. The performance and the tapasya it takes, the effort and the thinking it takes to perform those actions purifies our mind. It purifies our chitta. And as we said earlier, without purifying the mind and the chitta, you will never gain that higher wisdom. Only in a clean mirror will the Lord be reflected. And then my mind is that mirror. And interestingly, Hanumanji is today with us, as you can see in the background. And the beginning of Hanuman Chalisa is so beautiful. Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj Nijman Mukuru Sudhar Baranau Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jo Dayak Falchar. What does this mean? So Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj means, Raj means touching the dust of the lotus feet of my Guru. Nijman Mukuru Sudhar means I will polish the mirror of my mind. Baranau Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jo Dayak Falchar means in that clean mirror of my mind, the Lord Rama or Raghuvar, he will be reflected, and he is the bestower of all the boons of life. So when I do action in this world, and we have been told in the previous chapters, how do we perform actions in this world? We remember that God is the doer. We remember that all the energy, all the intelligence, all the matter that we work with belongs to God. And we do nishkam karma. That means we work in this world without expecting any fruits of action. We surrender the fruits of action to the one Lord. With that attitude, if we act in this world, then slowly the mirror of our mind will be cleansed and purified, and then it will reflect our own atman, because our own atman is Ram, our own atman is the same as Paramatman. So when our mind becomes pure, then self-realization will automatically dawn upon us, and that is the very purpose of our life. That is the very direction this Shastra is taking us to. That is why Gita is here. So balance is very, very important. Moderation is very, very important. The middle path as shown by the scriptures, including Lord Buddha, is very, very important. No extreme will work on the human. Let's accept this truth, stay in the middle, stay centered, stay calm and poised. And then, having set our goal and direction, with the help and the grace of the masters of God, we will be able to do whatever has been asked of us. And God never lets us down. As long as we are putting in the effort, God will never let us down, because God is our parent. God has created us. We are his children. And as parents love their children, God, the parent, loves all of us. And also, let us remember one thing, we may bring in talks about, oh, but I have so much bad karma. Oh, but I have to, how will I, fight this battle and so on. Always remember that love is above the law. However difficult the law of karma may be, however complicated it may be, but love is higher than the law. All karma can be forgiven. All karma can be mitigated. All karma can be managed, because God loves us. Not only is love higher than the law, but love is the law. Now, just as, if a child makes multiple mistakes, but the child is humble and he's doing good works, and he's asking the parent of forgiveness, the parent will immediately and instantly forget all mistakes done in the past, and will only feel the love, will give love and receive love. So that is why love is above the law and love is the law. So do not feel burdened by whatever karma we have. We talked about, sanchit, prarabdha, and agami karma, all of that complication. Master said, I don't like it when people say karma, 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 karma. Forget it. Do your purusharth right now. Surrender to God. Love God. Everything else will be taken care of. Do not think too much of these things. Okay, so just keep purifying your chitta, just keep expanding in your consciousness, keep performing your meditative duties, and all of this will be taken care of. When we raise ourselves to super consciousness, all of this, even if the karmic results do happen, they don't affect us as much. And as long as our heart and our mind is given to God, we are, in a sense, free already. We are already going towards being a Jivan Mukta. So now Master explains here further. He says salvation means two things. One is you let go of material desires, because what material desires do is they keep you caught up in this worldly existence, and you forget that you have infinite existence. But at the same time, on the one side you are leaving your worldly desires, but on this other hand, your energy and your attention and everything should be directed towards communion with the higher. So whatever available time and energy that you get after renouncing material desires, that you must invest in God communion, invest in bhakti, invest in your sadhana. And then you will find when these two things go hand in hand, then automatically your evolution becomes faster. You grow, in a much faster pace. As Master said, he said, I want race horses. I don't want tortoises. So if we know that our goal is set, this is the direction, and we have the key, then all we need to do is increase the sincerity of the application of whatever we have received. And once we are able to do that, it is the promise of the scripture. It is the promise of the Guru that we shall all be salvaged. How soon that happens depends on us. And of course, it depends on the grace of God and the Gurus. And also when we are saying that Krishna is saying to Arjuna, so you may think that, okay, Krishna said to Arjuna, this happened, more than 2000 years ago. How do I know that Krishna is saying the same thing to me? Maybe Krishna does not understand me. Maybe the gurus don't understand me. So this is not the case. Because why? Because when the devotee is advancing, this is the guidance that his own intuition, awakened intellect receives. So when you are working in this world and as simultaneously you are meditating, you will receive this guidance that, oh child, that you must continue on your path of duty. But simultaneously, you must develop God communion. So don't think that it was an advice which was given like 2000 years plus and now is not relevant. No, right now, this is the higher path. If you ask this correct question to the Krishna within yourself in meditation, you will receive the same reply that Arjuna received from Krishna on the battle of Kurukshetra. And right now, our battle of life is on. Don't think Kurukshetra is not here. We are actually fighting the battle of Kurukshetra right now at every level of existence. And Krishna is here in the middle of the battle, is advising us that you must act, and you must act dutifully, you must act rightfully, and do God reminding actions and do meditation. Now, here again, a discrepancy can come here when people may say, okay, what about monks and nuns? What is the point of view? Now, you are saying that yoga of action is better than yoga of renunciation. But what about a person who wants to become a monk? So, Master says that ideally, if you have thought that this is your life, that now I am going to go only Godward and I have no material desires, I don't want anything in life, I don't want to go through the pathway of marriage and all my worldly duties. So for this person, yes, definitely, the one who is already very clear about his goal and has no significant material desires, definitely the life in an ashram or a hermitage is going to be better than a worldly life. So here, so it's a slight difference. But most of us are not maybe ready to become monks and nuns. We still have material desires. Now, if we do have material desires, then there is no other choice but to go through this passage of working in the world and slowly, slowly purifying our chitta. So there's so many, samskaras and vasanas. They are residing in our own chakras. As we work in this world with love, with humility, as service, being a friend and doing the best that we can, all those vrittis, all those samskaras, they are released from the chakras, and that is why karma is important for us. And simultaneously, of course, so we do karma at two levels. One, we do the karma of daily life, that also we do with a nishkam bhav, without expecting the result of action. And then we also do the higher karma of meditation. Kriya Yoga is also a form of karma. Whatever sadhana anybody does or upasana anybody does, that is also action. So these two actions done at different levels simultaneously will set one surely on the path of liberation. Okay. Right. So this brings us to shloka number 3. Geyasa nitya sannyasi yo na dveshti na kakshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. हे महाबाहो अर्जुन, वह व्यक्ति जो द्वंद्वों, प्रकृति में विपरीत के युग्मों, आई विल एक्सप्लेन दिस लेटर, से मुक्त होने के कारण राग द्वेष नहीं रखता, तथा जो सभी बंधनों से सहज ही मुक्त हो जाता है, वह सदा सन्यासी यानी त्यागी समझा जाने योग्य है. O mighty armed Arjuna, he is to be known as a constant sannyasi, a renunciate, easily liberated from all entanglements, who has neither likes nor dislikes, because he is unbound by the dualities of nature. So, two important things in this shloka. One is a constant sannyasi. So it's not that, a sporadic thing that, okay, today morning I feel like a sannyasi, in the afternoon I feel like a worldly person, in the evening I'm a party animal, and the next morning suddenly I have this sannyasi vairagi urge again. It's not like that. Okay, so a person who moves towards vairagya, towards renunciation, keeps on deepening his sense of vairagya. Why is he able to deepen that sense of vairagya? Is because he starts to understand the falsity and the illusion of the world. He starts to realize that the atman is the truth and the projected body and mind is an illusion. This little life that we think is true, this is an illusion. So once the yogi starts to realize this, then he becomes a nitya tyagi, means a continuous renunciant all the time. And the second thing is, how do you become a constant renunciate even while living in this world? Is the simple way of avoiding likes and dislikes, avoiding attachments or attractions and repulsions. Stay in the middle. Now, raga and dvesh, or likes and dislikes, are they appear simple, but their tentacles of likes and dislikes go far and deep. So what happens is, as Swamiji has explained multiple times. So suppose I see a rose, and my senses say this is a rose. My mind has not collected the data of a beautiful red rose, and my intellect has declared that this is a rose. Now, there is no problem till here. The problem comes, it's a beautiful rose. I like it. Therefore, I want to have it. And here begins the karma. So till the level the feelings or the desires are not awakened, you are not trapped. You are just using your senses and mind and intellect to interact in this world. But as soon as you say, I like it, I want to have it, or you say, I hate this, then again you are entrapped. So anything that you like or anything that you dislike is basically a source of trapping you into this world. But if you can stay in the middle and you can say, this is God's drama, that now this does not mean that you become this passive person and then, everything it's a dumb robot kind of existence. It's not that. For some person, if there are 2-3 colors, one may say, oh, I love blue, but I hate red. But what will the yogi say? The yogi will say, both blue and red are coming from the same white light. They are both equally nice, but although sometimes I prefer blue over red. So this is a different, shift in the attitude. Everything remains the same. The colors remain the same. The analysis of the mind and the intellect remains the same. But you do not go into the fact that I love blue, I hate red. No. So I've given a very simple example, but this is so true with every little thing in life. I hate this thing. I love this thing. I hate this person. I love this person. I hate this situation. I love this situation. We are all over it. And what Krishna is saying, that if you can simply avoid your likes and dislikes, if you can simply go on the path and whatever God brings in front of you, that duty you perform with all your heart, with all your mind and all your strength, then you are not caught in this world of delusion. The world continues, but you are not caught up in it. Okay. So now let's understand. So here also comes the difference between even-mindedness and indifference. Very interestingly, this question was also asked on our WhatsApp group, and on which we keep having our discussions sometime. And so that is what is important here. We do not become indifferent to the world. So indifferent would mean emotionally blunt, and I don't care, I am careless, and whatever is happening is happening. But even-minded is what? Whatever is happening, I will accept. I will not reject it. I will accept with an even-mindedness, with a calmness. So here we must be working as an even-minded person rather than an indifferent person. And automatically here, Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyas will also come into play. So always be careful. Never entertain strong likes and dislikes. Just do whatever needs to be done. But whatever you are doing, give it all your attention, give it all your heart, give it all your energy. And then don't worry what is going to happen in the next moment. Utilize this moment. You have power only on this particular moment. So right now, where is your energy? Where is your thought? Is it that you're just sitting in front of the computer and listening to a class and your thoughts are running away here and there? Or is it that not only your body, but your senses and your mind and your intellect and your heart is right now trying to absorb the teachings that are being given? And this has to be done in every moment. When we are sitting at a computer table, maybe we are answering emails. Then again, is my thought running in 100 different directions? Or am I actually writing the mail with all concentration? And again, writing an email should not be a robotic activity. Always remember that there is a person who is receiving that email, and that person is a alive human like you are, has emotions, is able to sense energy, and that person is God in the form of a human. So how would you write an email to God? Now, that should be, your attitude. I'm writing to someone alive. Now, let me write that email with all my energy, all my attention, all my love, and with the correct information that the person has asked for. Let me do service even while I'm writing an email. So, in every little thing, you have to make sure that you are fully present. You have to make sure that higher wisdom is flowing through you, that your energy is at the level of the superconsciousness. So first, you must raise your energy. Unless your own meditative practices are really high and good and strong, you will not be able to project that onto others. So make sure, and you needn't actually try to project them on others consciously, but just be your own light. At least increase the light of your own soul for your own happiness. Now, whether others see it or not, whether others encourage it or not, whether others are happy about it or not, does not matter. Are you happy with it? Do you feel your own light or not? Or do you feel dull in yourself, or do you feel dark in yourself? If you still feel dull, dark, and doubtful in yourself, again, be in the company of people who are happy, high energetic, who are devotional, and keep listening to talks by master, talks by Swami, listen to high spiritual music, attune yourself with the teachings, attune yourself with the meditation techniques, and automatically, then you don't have to beat yourself that, I will hit this like and it will go away. I will hit this dislike, it will go away. No, just raise your energy in your spine. Just meditate regularly. The likes and the dislikes will automatically stop to bother you. All your old habit patterns, your vasanas and samskaras, they will automatically stop bothering you. You don't have to beat them individually or handle them one by one. Okay. So the teaching of the Gita, Master says, is not a philosophy of negativeness or of negligence. Man has his proper duty to the body. The devotee should practice titiksha, imperturbability. That is, this disciple allows for the removing of the pain or causes of pain without inner impatience. The physical temple should be protected until final salvation is reached. When the yogi can retain his inner calm and happiness during the experience of physical pleasure or physical pain, he becomes one with his ever blessed self, his own atman. Okay, so we now come to shlokas number 4 and 5. They have been taken together and we will study them together. First, shloka number 4. Sankhya-yogo pritgabala pravadanti na pandita ekamapyasthita samyog bhayor vindate phalam. Shloka number 5. Yat sakhye prapyate sthanam tadyogairapi gamyate ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yapashyati sapashyati. Gyan ke path, and that means he's talking about Sankhya Yoga. ज्ञान के पथ और आध्यात्मिक कर्म के पथ यानी योग के बीच अंतर पंडित जन नहीं अपितु ना समझ लोग करते हैं। वह व्यक्ति जो किसी एक भी यथार्थ स्थित है दोनों का फल प्राप्त करता है। श्लोका नंबर 5। ज्ञानियों द्वारा प्राप्त अवस्था, ज्ञान योगी जो सफलता पूर्वक विवेक के ज्ञान मार्ग सांख्य का अनुसरण करते हैं, कर्म करने वाले भी प्राप्त करते हैं। वही सत्य जानता है जो सांख्य और योग दोनों को एक रूप में देखता है। English translations, verse number 4. Not sages, but children speak of differences between the path of wisdom or Sankhya and the path of spiritual activity or yoga. He who is truly established in either one receives the fruits of both. Shloka number 5. The state attained by the wise Jnana yogis is also attained by the doers, the Karma yogis. He has truth who beholds as one both wisdom and right action. So here an equalizer is coming from Krishna. So for all those who still have doubts, whether path of Jnana Yoga is better or path of Karma Yoga is better, here is a definitive and clear answer. He is saying the goal is the same, although the paths may appear to be different, and they appear to be different only to children, but to sages and to wise ones, to yogis, they appear to be the same. Why? Because they are help you to attain that same one result. So this is a categorical, declaration which is saying that the end goal is the same for both. Okay. The yogi who is immersed in wisdom and the yogi who performs action sees two modes of salvation as one. They alone are the perceivers of truth. So we know that, the Jnana yogi goes the way of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Listening, and contemplating, meditating, and living the teachings. And the other karma yogi goes the way of nishkam karma, both in normal worldly duties as well as in all his spiritual activities, including meditation. Now, these may appear to be different. So a person who's onlooking and saying, oh, this person is, listening and contemplating, he will go somewhere else. And this person appears to be very active in the world, or this person keeps meditating and sitting in silence. Maybe this one will go somewhere else. So only people who have no idea about yoga, who have no knowledge about any of these higher truths, will say such a thing. Now, a person who is wise, who has developed some knowledge on the spiritual journey, will know that whether you go from this route or you go from that route, in either case, you are going to reach to the same goal. So just as, on a mountain, you may start from a different point on the base, but there is only one top. So from wherever you may access it, you are eventually going to go to that one mountain top of self-realization. And this is what Master says. He says, God is wisdom and bliss. When wisdom is gained by the Vedantic way, it produces God realization. Similarly, when bliss is gained through scientific methods of meditation, techniques of yoga, it also produces God realization. So multiple times in the Gita, he is the comparison, whenever comparison has come between different paths, whether it is karma or bhakti or jnana or meditation, the Gita has always declared that the goal is one, and the goal is self-realization. The goal is knowing that you are the Atman, and all paths will lead to that one goal. And when Gita says that all paths will lead to that one goal, means it is applicable to all human beings on the planet, because any one of these paths suits the temperament of different individuals. So that is why the scripture, like the Bhagavad Gita, is universal in its application. It's universal in its appeal. It's universal in its ability to help on wherever you are in life. And from whatever consciousness you read the Gita, it has multiple layers of meaning. And those layers of meaning can be, awakened only when your intuition awakens. As you practice meditation, with the grace of the Guru, you find that your intuition starts to awaken. And then you start to understand the various layers in which this beautiful scripture has been written. And therefore, whoever reads the Gita, even the most worldly person, whoever reads the Gita, will get some good thing from it, if it will be applicable. And we know that nobody comes to the Gita by chance. It is when a person is seeking the truth, if it is when a person is ready for some higher truth, that the Gita, which is always present when you talk of Gita at Indian setup, everybody in India has a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, but for most people it is on the shelf. For most people, it may be kept in the temple or the altar, but it has been unopened. And even if it has been opened, it has not been understood. So the fact that you are studying the Gita, and the fact that you are trying to understand the Gita, and the higher fact that you are trying to live the Gita, means automatically what Master says, you have to have very, very, very good karma even to want to know God. Now, if you do have a building block of good karma, what are you going to do now? Are you going to say, oh, I have enough good karma, now I've got the Gita and everything? Now is the time to utilize all that backlog of goodness that has brought you to this point. Use it as the springboard towards your salvation. And go further and further and further till you attain that final goal that you are seeking, till you attain that gain, having which no gain is greater. Till you attain that bliss which is completely unconditional, till you attain that love which you can give unconditionally to all humans, because all humans are part of that one God of which you are also part. So the entire self is that same one truth. So keep going in that direction. And yes, of course, there are days when our meditations are not very good. There are days when life is difficult and your spiritual practices overall may go down. But that doesn't really mean anything. Ignore those days simply. Take the next step. What can you do in this moment? Whatever has happened in the past is the past. You have no control over it. You have control over this moment right now. The minutes are more important than the days. Utilize every minute constructively. This life is precious, it's priceless, It is only through the vehicle of the human body on this planet that you will attain liberation. Therefore, utilize every minute of your available life. And Guruji has said that whoever is sincere till the end, one of the gurus will come and take you and help you to go across the gulf between life and death. Because again, let us remember, none of us is going to die truly. The bodies will be dropped. We will continue our journeys. Now, whether that journey is to back through earth to earthly life, or to astral realms, causal realms, or to moksha, that is up to the guru. You do your job. Why do you have to think so much? Do whatever you can right now, whatever you can, with whatever you have, do that. And with love and surrender. In that way, you will enjoy what you're doing in the present moment also. If you just keep the goal fixed and say, moksha, 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 and I will not be happy till I reach there, then you are again losing the present moment. Then you have missed the point. You have missed the boat. Right now, this is the only moment where you can feel that communion with God, because God is present right now. When you go into the past or you go into the future, basically you are traversing the rooms in the mind. And the soul is beyond the mind. Always remember that. The soul is accessible only in this present moment, when you are fully attentive and aware right now. The moment you are going into alleys of thinking, whether it is past or future, you are missing the point. And therefore, we need to do that karma yoga where our mind is purified. And then every moment we become nitya sannyasi, means ever renunciant. And all the time we can feel that presence. That means we are going towards the state of nirvikalpa samadhi. We are going towards the state of liberation. So we now come to shlokas number 6 and 7. Again, they have been taken up together and I will read them together. Shloka number 6. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukhamaptum yogata yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena dhigachati. Number 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijittatma jitendriya sarvabhutatma bhutatma purvana parpina lipyate. In Hindi, परंतु हे महाबाहो अर्जुन, ईश्वर से मिलन कराने वाले कर्मों योग के बिना संन्यास प्राप्त करना कठिन है। योग के अभ्यास द्वारा मुनि, जिसका मन भगवान में लीन है, शीघ्र ही अंततः ब्रह्म को प्राप्त करता है। श्लोका नंबर 7. कर्मों में लिप्त होने का कोई भी फल उस पवित्र व्यक्ति का स्पर्श नहीं कर सकता जो ईश संपर्क यानी योग में लीन है, जिसने आत्म अनुभूति को प्राप्त करके अहम चेतना पर विजय प्राप्त कर ली है, जो जितेंद्रिय है और जो अपनी आत्मा को सभी प्राणियों में विद्यमान ईश्वर के रूप में अनुभव करता है। In English, verse number 6. But renunciation, O mighty armed Arjuna, is difficult to achieve without God uniting actions or yoga. By the practice of yoga, the Muni, he whose mind is absorbed in God, quickly attains the infinite. Verse number 7. No taint of karmic involvement touches the sanctified man of action who is engaged in divine communion, yoga, who has conquered ego consciousness by attaining soul perception, who is victorious over his senses, and who feels his self as the self existing in all beings. Okay. So, is it an easy task to renounce the likes and dislikes? No, not at all. And the Gita is not saying, Krishna is not saying, the Guru is not saying that it is going to be easy for you to leave these attachments that you have with the world. It is going to be easy for you to transcend the likes and dislikes. So renunciation is not easy. And also one has to check that is it an inner renunciation or an outer renunciation. Now, if one just adorns the orange robe and on the inside, has the same thoughts and passions and desires and all of that, again, it's just like removing the body from the city to the forest. So just by removing your normal work clothes and adorn an orange colored robe, will you change? No. So unless you have changed inwardly, unless you really are not attracted to the desires and likes and dislikes of this world, till that is real renunciation. So on the outside, your body is anyway a garment. If that garment is whatever garment it is wearing, it does not matter that much. But of course, if you are already an inner renunciate and then you also want on the outer side to wear the ochre robe, of course you must and you can. And Master said that is the higher path. But only the changing clothes in the outside, will it really change you? Will you become the Nitya Sannyasi? No, you will not. So therefore, inner renunciation is more important, is more precious, is more difficult than outer renunciation. But the yogi who is serious on the path to self-realization will work with inner renunciation. Even though he will be in the world, he will try not to be attached to or not have desires for those material, selfish, personal desires for the things of this world. Okay. So if one adopts sannyasi, the sannyas only outwardly, so what will happen? Master says then he will be deprived of the benefit of both jnana and karma yoga. So again, importance of inner renunciation. It's okay that if we are in this world, we are acting outwardly in this world, but ask yourself, check with yourself how attached you are from this world. How much or how many expectations are you still holding from this world? Are you holding out a begging bowl in front of this world, thinking that this world will put some happiness in your begging bowl? If this is the case, you are totally ready for sorrow and suffering. So therefore, all of us who want moksha, moksha means from all sorrow and suffering, we must throw away the begging bowl and we must develop our own inner light. And that will happen by inner renunciation. When we, from the inside, when we feel that the things of this world are not giving me what my heart wants, they are not able to give me that sense of fulfillment, that sense of completeness, the sense of satisfaction, and the sense of unaltered bliss that my heart and soul desire. And once you are fully convinced of this, then that inner vairagya will happen. Then that inner renunciation will happen. And then you will be able to do the other simultaneous thing that Master said is prerequisite for salvation. One, he said you have to give away material desire. The second is he said that you must commune with God. So only when you have renounced these things inwardly, then you will put all your available time, energy, attention, love on the one truly worth acquiring aim of life, that is God himself. Rise beyond the gifts of the giver, go to the giver himself, and don't settle for less. Never should you settle for less. You are a child of the infinite, you are the light itself. Don't stop till you recognize that you are the light itself, and shine that light. Not only should you understand your own divinity, but your life should manifest that divinity. Raise your energy, raise your power, arise, O Arjuna, arise, O devotee, and know that you are the soul. And here is the path that the Gita brings and tells you what to do, what not to do, if you want to realize that you are that all-powerful soul. Such is the beauty and the power of the Gita. We will, of course, discuss these two shlokas a little more in detail in the next class. But for today, we will end the class by sharing the power, the blessedness, the grace of these teachings with souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, all hearts, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Lord Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.